There he goes. There he goes. We're on.
Oh, I don't see him yet. What's he doing?
Where's he at?
Whew, okay, I'm here. Thank you for being patient, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Mice in the Attic. I'm your host, Alex Carle, and this is the show where we introduce you to new and up-and-coming musicians by streaming their performances live from the attic of Tonal Vision Studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. As always, I encourage you to like and share this video. That helps us out. And please feel free to comment and ask questions in the comments section below, and I'll get them over to the artist. Today we have singer-songwriter Madeleine Arnoult. Come on in. And that's Arnoult with a T, not a D.
Yay!
How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell everybody at home a little bit about yourself and about this first song you're going to be playing.
So, my name is Madeleine Arnoult. I am a local musician. I'm a music teacher, social media aficionado. I guess that's mostly
The list goes on.
Yeah. And I guess the first song that I'm gonna play is, I don't know what I do with my pick. It's called When the Devil Comes, and this was one that I worked on with some people that kind of just pulled a lot of different ideas from just experiences that we'd had. So it's kind of like this conglomerate person that was pulled for like all these different features and things about them that were pulled to kind of make this being happen, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think it'll make more sense once I've heard the song, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably.
Everybody enjoy When the Devil Comes.
Eyes of the bluest blue that could save your soul like an angel do. He had hair of the blackest black that could stop any woman in her tracks. They never tell you that the devil is handsome, that his conversation and wit will win your heart. He'll fill your soul with promises till he breaks up, and then he'll win you back over with his charm. And he's the one your mama told you stay away from, and he's the one your preacher told you not to indulge, and he's a bad idea that you just can't stay away from. He's the one who's laughing when you're under his thumb. You'll tell yourself you're smarter than the last time. You'll build up your walls and try to stay strong. But when he's thirsty for blood and attention, you can bet for him it won't take long. 'Cause he's the one your mama told you stay away from, and he's the one your teacher told you not to indulge. He's the bad idea that you can't stay away from, and he's the one who's laughing when you're under his thumb.
Yeah!
Nice. Very nice. I'm loving these sort of, bluesy indie flair that you've got with that song.
Yeah.
Where's the dogs?
As do the dogs. You've got the dogs.
Good.
So,
All right. Well, that
so
was
you're allowed to stay.
That was the approval I was looking for. So, not that I don't appreciate yours, but
No, it's okay. Theirs is the one you need.
that's
They're
what I
the
thought.
Joey
they're the
loves
gatekeepers to the business. So the old adage, the old expression goes that those who can't teach, but in your case that's not exactly true, because not only are you frequently writing and playing out, and you are also a an elementary school music teacher. Is that correct?
Yes. So what the expressions? Those who can't do teach. Those who can't teach just go back to trying harder at what they couldn't do in the first place. So yeah, I've taught for about 5 years. I guess we're going on 6. That's scary. That's me noticing my age. But I've done music and art all around Baltimore City, but the place I've done music is Wolf Street Academy in Upper Fells Point. And I've really had a good time with it because this particular group of kids, it's a very specific demographic, and most of them have never been exposed to any kind of, well, most kids around the city haven't had any music training at all. But so I'll go in there and it's kind of like, I feel like I'm in a Robin Williams movie dealing with like kids who are like down and out and they're kind of tough, and then they're like, this is stupid, music's stupid, I hate this is boring, this hurts my ears. And by the end of our time together, they're like, can we listen to that Bob Dylan song again, or can you put on classical music for us? And I'm just like, yes. You guys feel the power of music.
What kind of stuff are you teaching them? I mean, are you teaching them like the basics of theory? Are they too young for that? And you're just teaching them like.
Sorry.
I always feel my way out at the beginning. Like the first week I have them, I kind of see what they're interested in, because I've got some groups that they don't have any interest in playing. They don't want to play it. They don't really want to listen to it, but they get really, really into theory. Their minds just get wrapped around like terms and concepts and the math of it all and the science of it, understanding how our brains predict music and how we associate things with it, how it can affect your feelings. And then other kids are like, that is not their thing at all, which is never mine, which is why I'm so blown away when kids are like, yeah, we want to learn more about
theory.
Notes. Let's do math flashcards, but with notes instead. Which is actually what we did today.
Were you teaching earlier today?
Yep. Came right from there today. And my kids were all like playing around the world for an hour with music flashcards, and I was just like, okay, whatever works for you guys.
Yeah.
But I have also done a lot of, with other classes, you know, if they're really interested in actually performing, we've done whole units where I've just taught them an instrument and they just like were able to pick it up like that, and that's always really fun. That's definitely harder to do. You know, you put a bunch of instruments in kids' hands, and first you have to train them not to destroy them. Train like they're, you know, like, okay, all right, I'm going to snap my fingers and you're going to not break it. Because I learned that the hard way. My first year teaching music, came in with some maracas, and I had 3 kids.
Well.
Yeah, I had 3 kids smash them on the floor and break them, and I was like, well, lesson learned there. I'm not going to make that mistake again. So we spent a week on how not to break the instruments.
Until you can bubble wrap the whole classroom, I guess that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And
Put almond mints on their hands.
You recently, with a bunch of your students, you held a concert, didn't you?
Yeah. So they actually, our school has a festival at the end of every school year, and they basically block off the street. It's like a block party. And there's moon bounces and pie the principal in the face, and lots of really amazing food. Because most of our kids their parents own restaurants, not the kids. But they have like a big stage for performances. And so I teach general music education, but we also have a program through Bridges, and we have a violin teacher, a cello teacher, and a viola teacher. And they take kids, specifically certain kids who sign up for that program. So they perform. And then in the past, we've had dance clubs. I don't think we have one this year. But then my class also started to get up there. And because I was like, okay, we all do general music. You know, it's not everybody's thing, but I am really proud of the work that my kids have done. And so we got up there and people were blown away because they did ukulele. And because I was like, okay, I hate recorders. I can't stand them. I'm not going to teach that. And also, most of the time kids have to buy them themselves. I can't think of a place where they aren't required to buy it themselves. But my kids are a lot of them are underprivileged and they don't have that kind of just like, oh, let's go buy a recorder.
Right.
I mean, some of them, their parents are never home. And like, so when would they get an opportunity to, let alone where would they find one? A lot of them probably have no idea. But so 1919 had a fundraiser a couple years ago, a fundraiser show, and they gave us a bunch of money for our music program. So obviously I was ecstatic. And my boss said, well, what do you want us to do with it? If you can't think of anything, we're going to put it towards the Bridges program. And I said, well, we don't have any substitute for recorders. And I think that the ukulele would be a really awesome tool because that is like the easiest stringed instrument you can play. And it helps you understand coordination. Like if you want to play violin, if you want to play guitar, if you want to play any bass, anything that has strings and you pluck it, those, not even just pluck, if you want to play violin, all of that requires a lot of coordination here, and it's hard for kids to get that, especially with like phones nowadays. People don't really take that into consideration.
Sure.
But there's like kindergartners that don't know how to point to things because they don't have to do that really ever. They're just like this all the time.
Interesting.
So getting kids to understand that, it's also this like the factor of like it is frustrating. It's a lot of trial and error. And so going from day one to, the end of the program, and you see kids start to, like, it clicks in their heads, and they're like, oh my gosh, I got it. Like, I can finally do this. I can do this chord. And
they
so
finally pick up that coordination.
Yeah, and it's so cute watching a bunch of 8-year-olds pluck away at a ukulele. I mean, really, like, it doesn't get much cuter than that. It's really adorable. I have some videos from a couple years ago, and it was like a big group of 8-year-old girls all huddled around, like 2 or 3 of them, and they were like the 2 or 3 in the middle were like playing the ukulele, and then all the other ones were standing around them like singing. And I was like, this
You have to come back.
is so cute. I know, yeah.
You should have brought the whole class.
I should have just brought the class.
But it sounds like it's really rewarding work, though.
It is. It feels really good to watch it because I can see how good it feels on their faces when they do it, and they look over at you and they're just like, I did the thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Well, why don't you show us a little bit of the coordination that you're teaching the students with the guitar with this next song. What have you got for us?
This song is Cry, and this is a song that I actually made up on the spot at one of the open mics that I used to host, because someone said, play us an original song. And I was like, I'm out of them. I played all of them. I've been here for 5 hours. I don't know what else to play. So they were like, just play another one. And I was like, okay. And I just made it up on the spot. But I'd just gotten out of a relationship, and I just started seeing a new person. And I think that a lot of people weren't aware that I was, saw girls and guys. And so they were like, I like how you changed perspective from one character in the song to another. And I was like, I didn't. I was the same person. And they were like, oh, wow, that's really cool. But again, like with most of my songs, I want it to be vague. I want it to seem like I'm everybody and everybody else is everybody. And because I think that, like, especially the perspective this song is like I was on the receiving end, giving end of being hurt. So I think that's kind of where I was coming from with that.
Gotcha. Well, everybody, here is Cry.
I left her on the side of the road and told her I'm no good. I dropped her off where she was going, and she just stood. I could see her growing foggy in my rear view mirror. But those big tears on her face were crystal clear. was crying. She was crying. She was crying out for me. I moved on to other places, found somebody else to hold. He says he loves me dearly, says I've got a heart of gold. He sleeps soundly next to me, I lie awake in the dark. He puts his arms around me and I pull them apart. And now I'm crying, and I'm crying out for her. And we're crying, and we're crying, and we're crying for each other.
Very nice.
Cool.
That was very sweet.
Thanks.
So,
It actually can go for a really long time. There's a lot to it, and I kind of was like,
did you did you make up all those lyrics on the spot at the
Yeah.
open mic? Oh wow. And you
Yeah.
just kept them as they were?
they change sometimes.
Okay.
Like sometimes, I mean, a lot of my songs change over time. Like I'll come up with it. I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that before? I don't know if I change it, but that one pretty much has entirely stayed the same. And people were like, how did you like rhyme it? So, and I was like, it's like freestyling, like when you do like rap, which I can't do at all. Don't ever ask me to try because I did one time and I was like, nope, never again. But yeah, it's like essentially the same thing. Like I just figure it out as I go along.
Very cool.
I actually write usually like that. That's how most of my writing
And
is.
and speaking of songwriting sessions, you told me that you host songwriting sessions, don't you, on
yeah.
TikTok?
Yeah. So the ever-growing in popularity children's app at TikTok, everyone calls it a children's app because it's mostly children who know about it. But yeah, I have a growing following on there, and when I go live, I invite my fans to basically, I'll ask them, you know, is anybody going through anything right now that they want to talk about? And I've had people come on and say, yeah, this girl that I really liked, she basically broke it off with me today and told me she had no interest in me. And then we'll say, all right, well, you know, what do you want us to write about then? And they'll say, okay, well, for all intents and purposes, let's call her this name. Let's say her name's Stephanie, or let's say her name's Tina. And then we'll be like, all right, this is a song for Stephanie. And then we'll just work on that from there. And other people will put in their points like, oh, yeah, well, one time my heart was broken because somebody did this. And we're like, okay, so Stephanie did that too. And then it's just kind of the same thing with like what I usually do in my writing, but it's inviting other people to collaborate on it. It's not just me saying, well, oh, there was this one person in my life and there's this other person in my life, so I'm just going to make them one person. This is like, okay, here's a bunch of people. Here's 20 or so, 30 people's experiences with somebody. Nobody knows who they're talking about, but we've all been through these things that are so similar. We've all had our heart broken. We've all had our hopes up and had disappointments, and we've all had extreme joy and seen really beautiful things. And so when you take all those experiences and put them into one, it's got a different feeling to it than just like, oh, one person came up with this idea.
So you're getting like a pretty substantial audience on TikTok then. I mean, you're talking like 30 people in on one, songwriting session.
Yeah, and they come and go. Sometimes, you know, because my lives can go anywhere from 30 minutes to 5 hours. And somebody will leave and come back and be like, hey, I just wanted to check on how the song's doing and see what the progress was on it. And I have people come back like days later and they say, hey, did you ever finish it? I want to hear it. And I'm like, yeah, let me grab my guitar really
And do
quick.
you often finish them?
Yeah, I mean,
A 5-hour songwriting period. That's like
well, it's not
to be live.
It's
I mean,
not
that's-
5 hours of songwriting, to be fair, but
It's still 5 hours in front of
in front of a camera,
the camera,
talking and singing and
Huh.
yeah, it's exhausting. It is actually.
And like I'm personally kind of ignorant to TikTok because I know that it's kind of like it's new here
Yes.
in the United States, but it's
Very.
coming out of China. Is that right?
Yes. So it was originally, I'm going to try to nutshell this. It was originally Musically, and that was a Japanese company, and they were bought by TikTok, which was a Chinese company, and TikTok said, all right, well, we're just going to kind of morph that into ours, and it's going to be kind of like, Musically was just lip syncing and dancing, and TikTok was like, well, we want to have original content. We want to have people making jokes and doing things on their own that aren't pre-chosen audios that we tell you can use. So it kind of opened up the doors for a lot of things. There's a lot of comedians and actors and people who have been coming on and really using, it's kind of the Wild West right now. People come on and they're like, well, I'm going to use this for this purpose. Nobody told me it was for that, but I can see it benefiting me. So, you know, I got on it as a joke with some friends, and then I started to do well, and I was like, okay, this is kind of addicting.
The feedback. That
Yeah,
is.
and you get like your first 1,000 fans, and they're like, Queen! And you're like, me? Oh no, stop, I'm just a person. But it's, you know, it is really like, it's a lot. And the app itself is blowing up in the United States. It's really bizarre.
God knows I can't get away from the ads.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I'm pretty sure that TikTok bought New Year's Eve, so we're
That's
in
wild.
2019 is the year of TikTok.
Oh,
That's what they were
gross.
dubbing
Don't put it that way. I mean, TikTok's cool and everything, but I don't want a whole year dedicated
No,
to it.
that's from their perspective. They were like, yes, this is going to be ours. And we're going to start the year off with it, just so you all know.
So for people interested in getting in on these songwriting sessions, I mean, do you host them regularly, or like how can
Yeah.
they find you on TikTok?
So, you know, my name's Madeleine, but on TikTok and on Instagram, I switched the M and the D, so it's Dadeline online. So they all call me Dad. But yeah, so that's just like, I mean, should I spell it?
Sure, if you want, yeah.
It's Dadeline, and it's just that, no special characters or anything. And I go live pretty much every night, if I can't, you know, if there's maybe a day that goes by that I don't, but usually I'm on every night.
Huh,
For
very
at
cool.
least an hour. You get sucked into it, and then I look at the clock and 4 hours passed, and I'm just like. But yeah,
Well-
so if you want to check it out.
Well, I want to definitely keep up this conversation about TikTok, but I don't want to bleed too much into your performance time. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this next song, and then when I come back, I want to continue that
Okay.
conversation. Just want to make sure you get your time to play.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm just like thinking about TikTok. What's this song called?
Got the fans on the mind. There's 1,000 followers calling you queen and dad.
Yeah, Dad, Queen, Dad. This is called For My Own.
For my
And, yeah, I mean, this one's, a lot of my songs are like really sad. And this one's a little bit more
Saddlin'.
cheerful. Yeah, Saddlin', Daddlin'. I can't do Madeline because that's already my name. But yeah, this one's a little bit more cheerful. And I think, I don't know, I kind of like my sadder songs more, but this one was a song I did a long time ago. So I must have been going through a good thing because it sounds very happy.
Well, go ahead and cheer us up. Enjoy, everyone.
Hello.
goes. We can go dancing, or we can stay Baby, I'm so lazy, just waiting for you to come home. Baby, I go crazy, just waiting for you to pick up the phone. We can go dancing, we can go slow, we can go quickly, we can stay, just as long as you're with me. Don't really care as long as I got you for mine. Baby, I go crazy, just waiting for you to come home. Baby, I'm so crazy, just waiting for you to pick up the phone. We can go dancing, we can stay home, we can go quickly, but we can go slow. We can go anywhere as long as you're with me. Don't really care as long as I got you for my own. Hi.
That almost harkens back more to that
You're
like
right.
urban folk revival
Yeah.
back of a while ago.
I realized that I played two different songs in one.
Well,
Oh, cool.
You got distracted.
Was that pieces of the third and fourth song together? Awesome. No, that's perfect because we totally ran out of time.
Yeah, so I actually just put two songs together as one. So
Well, there
it
you
was
go.
actually
Well-
the music for one song and the words to another. I got a little bit
Which
confused.
was which?
So
What was the
I was-
music to?
the music was for the next song, and the words were for the song that I was trying to play just now, but I noticed halfway through this is wrong, and I was like, should have seen that. Yeah,
Well,
it happens. You gotta just keep going though. Pretend like, yeah, I meant to do that.
well, you know, from where I was sitting, I couldn't tell.
yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was the song. I thought it sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe consider doing a mashup.
Yeah, I guess I
It
just
worked
did.
out.
I
Yeah, it
just
worked
did
out
it.
perfect. Live mashup. So
Consider me a live mashup artist.
that last one that you did, you wrote live, and this one you mashed up live. You are a live writing artist, if that's
Yeah.
such a thing.
I really do think that I'm better at being on the spot than I am at, because I overthink things. So whenever I write, I'm like, I just have to make it up and just go with it.
Just
when
have the
I-
stream of consciousness.
Yep, exactly.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time today. I wish that we had more time to keep going. And I do want to keep talking more about TikTok
Yeah.
in a little bit. So maybe we can find some time when we can have a discussion about that in the future. Because I think that is like a really interesting up-and-coming
Always come back.
app. Yeah. I mean, you do the live streams and everything. Like, I
Yeah.
would like to figure out maybe some way that we could talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you know about it probably more than most of the people that I know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I overthink my songwriting and I overthink every other endeavor in my life. So I'm a little bit of an expert. I'm not gonna lie.
Cool. Well, I would really like to tap into that expertise, so maybe we could figure out a time to
Yeah.
get together and talk about it a little bit more. Right on. Well, is there anything else that you would like to tell everybody at home?
Wait a minute.
Was that me?
That wasn't a wait a minute for
Oh.
you.
You had the wrong picture on.
Oh.
That was me.
Just don't let yourself be your biggest critic. It's very easy. I am mine, and so I try to tell other people, like, if you don't think you can do something, don't let your head tell you that that's the case. And also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.
All right, it's Dadalin, like Madeline with a D, right?
Yep.
Awesome. There you
Dadalin.
go, everybody. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thanks for leaving us with a little bit of inspiration. That doesn't happen that often with the artists we have. That's nice to leave on an inspirational note. Don't be your own biggest critic. I like that. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming on the show or watching the show, and come back on Thursday, February 14th. That's Valentine's Day for a very special Valentine's Day episode featuring acoustic collabs. That's Tyler Kempa and Christina Aragon. So everybody, thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on Valentine's Day. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.